Hi everyone! Today we're gonna talk about Cooperative Principle by Paul Grace with me, Izzatun Nabila. So let's begin. Cooperative principle is a principle to value whether or not a conversation has achieved its purpose. Meaning that when you are want to know whether or not your conversation has fulfilled your purpose, you can use this four principle. First is maximum of quantity, meaning that the informant has to give an appropriate informations that are suitable with the need of the speakers itself. So, jadi informasi dari pendengar harus sesuai dengan kebutuhan dari pembicara itu sendiri. You cannot give more information that are not essential for these conversations. And the second is maximum of quality, meaning that the informant have to give a factual informations, and which mean there is no need to give misleading informations. And the third is maximum of relations, meaning that you have to say, the informant has to say something that are relevant with what the speaker's intentions or with what the speaker said. Jadi informan harus memberikan informasi yang relevan dengan apa yang dikatakan penutur. And then the last is maximum of manner, meaning that the speaker has to speak clearly without any ambiguous meaning. Jadi maximum of manner told us untuk menghindari ungkapan yang tidak jelas, ambigu, atau berbelit-belit. That's all the fourth principle from the cooperative principle. Apart from the maxim, Paul Grace also introduced the maxim violating. There is four types of maxim violating. The first is flattening, meaning that the speaker itself uh, the speaker itself doesn't obey the cooperative principle with intention so that the hearer can understand what they said. But in the end of the day, the hearer itself can understand what the speakers mean. So, in conclusions, even if the speaker doesn't obey the cooperative principle, but the hearer still can understand what the speaker's meaning. And the second type is violating, meaning that the speaker does not obey the cooperative's principle, and it makes the hearer itself cannot understand what the speaker's meaning. And the last is infringing. It is happen when the speaker have the limited ability or disorder of language competence. Like for example, baby who cannot speak, or even foreign who doesn't understand your language, or even people who are sick, something like that. And the last is opting out, meaning that this kind of violating maxims happen when the speakers happen because the speakers terikat with code ethic of humanity. For example, doctor will have to lying to their patients so that their patient does not worry with their health conditions. So now I'm going to give you an example of each maxim and each of the maxim violating. So I'm going to take the conversations from Lapor Pak Shows. It is a comedy TV show that has a regular schedule, and take this record from the YouTube with title Jennifer Ipel and Ajun Perwira diduga jadi pelaku investasi bodong. It is the series of 25 March 2022, and it is played by 7 people. In this series, the focus is in Ayu, which is the main character in the series. So in the beginning of the shows, Ayu proudly shared her profit with her co-worker without knowing that she was joining fake investment. Then in the end of the shows, the other women caught the perpetrator of the fake investment, and it makes Ayu disappointed and even stressed. And now let's begin with the first analysis. First, we're gonna talk about the fulfillment of each maxims. The first is maxim of quantity. So, maxim of quantity fulfilled in these conversations. It is fulfilled because Ayu give Surya the appropriate answers without any additional information that are not essential in these conversations. The second is maximum of quality. It is fulfilled when Ayu said, "Bapak kalau lagi butuh duit, bilang aja ya. Kebetulan ini lagi untung." And then when these conversations happen, Ayu show her pocket with full of money, meaning that what she said is actually true, or it is factual, that she can help the others' financial problem. And the third is maximum of relations. So maximum of relations fulfilled when these conversations happen. So we can see that the relations between Wendy's statement and Ayu responses. When Wendy talked about the investment, Ayu answered with the investment also. And then it continued with Wendy, who like giving a warning for Ayu to be careful with the investment she's joined. And then Ayu also give a appropriate response that related with with what warning that Wendy said to her. The last is maximum of manner. Ini terpenuhi ketika conversations ini terjadi. So here, pelapor memberikan informasi secara eksplisit sehingga pendengar langsung memahami apa yang diinginkan pelapor. Now we're gonna move to flattening of maxim. In this TV shows, I only found like flattening of maxim, and there is no like violating, infringing, or even opting out. So now we're just gonna talk about the flattening of maxims. The first is quantity flattening. It has happened in these conversations. When Surya give too much information from what I said, even if Ayu itself doesn't want any information about her salary itself. So in here, Surya give too much information. Second is quality floating. It has happened in these conversations. When these conversations happen, the tahanan itself not really give the money. Instead, he just like playing a joke with Wendy itself. But the Wendy itself believed that the tahanan itself want to give him money. So meaning that it's not fact, instead it is a lie that comes from the tahanan itself. The third is relations floating. It happened in these conversations. There is no like relations between what the pelapor said and what Surya's response. Pelapor give the informations about Mujair investment, while Surya give a response with another topic, which is tambak tawes, which is it is not there is no relations between Mujair investment and also tambak tawes. The last is manner floating. It has happened when I say it like gak usah pakai gepoy. Everyone's like laughing with her statement, meaning that everyone knows what actually Ayu means, even if it is actually in an ambiguous sentence. Because actually there is no mujair that's can like gepoy. So that is why even if it is ambiguous, but the speaker still know what actually the meaning. So that's all. In conclusions, fulfillment and violating maxims can happen in a humor. And furthermore, several spotting of maxim can support the humor itself to the point that the audience engages with the shows by laughing. So meaning that flaunting or maxim violating is not always have a negative meaning. It can also have positive meaning when it supports your intentions, which is in this context is humor itself. That is why violating maxims not always seen as a bad for conversations. So thank you for your attentions and thank you very much.